unforeseen arrival. A mist-shrouded welcome, my journey to the Isle of Whispers began with the brutal embrace of the sea. As Elias Thorne, a marine biologist by trade, I had embarked on a research vessel, charting the lesser-known currents of the Pacific. The ocean, however, had a different trajectory in mind. An unexpected violent storm descended upon us with a ferocity that defied all forecasts. The research vessel, once a sturdy beacon of scientific exploration, splintered under the sheer force of nature, its timbers groaning in protest before succumbing to the relentless waves. I recall the frigid shock of the water, the chaotic roar of the tempest, and the desperate, primal fight for breath as I clung to a piece of debris, battling exhaustion and the merciless currents. Days blurred into a timeless struggle until, through a veil of exhaustion, I spotted land. It was the Isle of Whispers, an enigma shrouded in perpetual mist, giving it an otherworldly, almost ethereal quality. My initial, desperate relief was quickly tempered by a growing unease. Modern maps, I knew, marked this island as uninhabited, a blank space on contemporary charts. Yet ancient folklore whispered of a hidden civilization, a detail that now resonated with an unsettling prescience. The mist, I soon realized, was not merely a meteorological phenomenon. It was a pervasive atmospheric device, a physical and psychological barrier that created a profound sense of isolation. This natural concealment, coupled with the island's absence from modern navigation, lulled me into a false sense of security, masking the true, ancient presence within its depths and setting the stage for a deception far more profound than I could have imagined. My wary curiosity soon gave way to a chilling encounter. The island's inhabitants, who introduced themselves as the Nocturnes, emerged from the mist-laden forest. They possessed a striking elegance, an unsettling stillness, and eyes that seemed to hold an ancient wisdom. Their initial welcome was surprisingly benevolent. They offered me shelter, strange, rich drinks that offered little nourishment, but a curious warmth and a sense of belonging that was both comforting and disquieting. Yet even in this initial phase, I, being resourceful and observant, began to notice subtle anomalies. Their heightened senses were unnerving. They seemed to perceive my presence even when I believed myself hidden or silent, their gazes lingering with an uncanny awareness. This constant, almost imperceptible observation made me feel perpetually exposed, an early, unsettling hint that their hospitality might be a sophisticated form of assessment rather than genuine benevolence. My physically average stature meant I could not rely on strength, making my intellect and observation my only initial defenses against whatever subtle game was being played. This pervasive monitoring, I would later understand, was a chilling prelude to my capture, where every seemingly kind gesture was part of a larger, predatory strategy. A gilded cage, unveiling the truth as I attempted to integrate into the Nocturne society. My scientific curiosity led me to observe their customs and social structure. Their society was rigidly matriarchal, governed by an elder council composed of the oldest and most formidable female vampires, whose decisions held ultimate authority. This hierarchical structure suggested a highly disciplined community, implying that any decision regarding my fate would be a collective, sanctioned act, making my predicament seem absolute. I noted subtle inconsistencies: their aversion to direct sunlight, their communal gatherings always occurring after dusk, and a strange, almost ritualistic reverence for certain times of day. My investigations into their diet revealed that while they consumed no human food, there were abundant remains of local fauna: wild boar, deer, and various large birds, indicating their primary food source. They employed sophisticated hunting techniques, a testament to their organized and intelligent approach to sustenance, ensuring they avoided depleting their primary food source. This demonstrated a species capable of foresight and sustainable living, a stark contrast to the profound shift in their societal values that was soon to be revealed. The fact that they chose to live sustainably on animal blood, despite their inherent predatory nature, suggested a form of self-control or an established societal rule. This made their eventual desire for human blood not merely a discovery of a better taste, but a profound temptation challenging their established way of life and potentially their collective morality. The chilling realization began to dawn on me, not through spoken words, but through the subtle gestures and telepathic whispers the nocturnes used to communicate. This complex system made eavesdropping nearly impossible for outsiders, creating a profound sense of isolation and paranoia. I knew they were communicating about me, yet I was locked out of their true intentions, amplifying my fear and helplessness. My observant nature allowed me to piece together fragments of their true intentions from their lingering gazes, subtle shift in their communal energy, and a possessiveness that had not been there before. I was not a guest, nor even just a prisoner, but a carefully preserved resource, a prize. The gilded cage I had found myself in slowly revealed its bars, its true purpose becoming terrifyingly clear: the allure of human blood, a profound hunger. The narrative built to the chilling moment when the Elder Council's decision was made clear. I was to be drained. The true, overwhelming extent of their desire for human blood was unveiled, not merely as sustenance, but as something far more profound. I overheard their almost ecstatic descriptions of human blood, the nectar of the gods, a symphony of sensation, the true purpose of their existence. It induced a state of euphoria far beyond anything animal blood provided, an almost spiritual fulfillment. This language, steeped in an almost religious fervor, explained why they would so readily abandon their previously pragmatic and sophisticated hunting techniques for animal blood. It was an overwhelming, almost uncontrollable urge that fundamentally redefined their existence. My situation became desperate. The captors were driven by a profound existential craving, not just simple hunger. The very fabric of their society seemed to shift, consumed by this new, profound hunger, rendering their prior sustainable practices meaningless. This profound craving, I understood, could lead to significant internal strife within their community, as some might resist this new addiction, while others would embrace it completely, leading to a potential schism. If I were fully drained, these creatures, having tasted their true purpose, might be compelled to seek out more human blood, potentially leading them to leave the island and threaten the wider human world. The full, horrifying weight of my predicament crashed down on me. I was no longer a guest, nor even just a prisoner, but a living larder. My fear became palpable, a primal terror of being slowly consumed. I reflected on my life, my dreams, and the cruel irony of surviving a shipwreck only to face a fate worse than drowning. Lyra's rebellion amidst the growing dread. A glimmer of hope emerged in the form of Lyra. From my observations, she was an outlier in their rigid society. Subtly questioning the Elder Council's traditions, I sensed in her a strange empathy, particularly her tendency to observe the island's fauna rather than hunt them, a stark contrast to her kin's predatory nature. This pre-existing compassion for animals, their traditional food source, made it a natural and believable progression for her to extend that empathy to a conscious, intelligent human like myself, especially one facing such a horrific fate. This suggested she might be less susceptible to the profound addiction of human blood, or possessed a stronger will to resist its corrupting influence. Her empathy, I mused, represented a deeper connection to the natural world, perhaps a less corrupted understanding of her species' role. Viewing the profound allure of human blood as a destructive force that would ultimately corrupt her people and their sustainable way of life, our connection blossomed through subtle, clandestine interactions. Moments of shared glances, unspoken understanding, and a growing sense of trust developed despite the overwhelming danger. Lyra's internal conflict was evident, her loyalty to her kind, her ingrained instincts, versus her burgeoning feelings for me. The profound, almost spiritual effect of human blood on her people made her decision to help me an unimaginable sacrifice, a betrayal of her very nature and a denial of what her people considered their ultimate fulfillment. She began to communicate with me in ways the others could not understand, perhaps through a unique system of subtle gestures, or by teaching me to interpret the nuances of their telepathic whispers in a way that allowed me to grasp meaning without being a full participant. This shared secret language deepened our bond, establishing a profound level of trust that isolated us together against the rest of the Nocturnes. Her ability to bypass the telepathic barrier was a crucial step in our developing relationship. Symbolizing her profound commitment, her struggle, I realized, was a microcosm of the potential societal conflict within the Nocturnes. Her decision, a rejection of the unsustainable, addictive path her species was now taking, the perilous plan. A path to freedom. Lyra made the definitive, agonizing decision to help me escape, fully aware of the immense risks to herself. Punishment from the Elder Council, with their ultimate authority, would be severe, potentially fatal. We began to conceive the escape plan, a meticulous endeavor that had to account for the Nocturne's heightened senses. Every scent, every shift in air current could betray us. The telepathic communication of the vampires meant our thoughts and intentions had to remain utterly hidden. The plan relied heavily on Lyra's intimate, secret knowledge of the island's hidden network of ancient tunnels. These tunnels, used by the Nocturnes for rapid, undetected movement, especially during daylight hours, were known only to a few trusted individuals. Lyra's decision to share this deeply guarded secret was a profound act of betrayal against her society, and it made her not just an ally, but the only viable path to freedom for me. The existence of these ancient tunnels implied a long-standing need for secrecy within the vampire community, perhaps even a defensive posture. Her betrayal, therefore, wasn't just about helping a human escape. It was about exposing a fundamental, deeply guarded vulnerability of her species, raising the stakes beyond mere punishment. Our preparations were tense and covert. We gathered minimal supplies, mapped out routes within the labyrinthine tunnels, and identified potential safe havens. Moments of intense tension and near discovery were frequent, highlighting the constant threat of the Nocturne's vigilance. Lyra's quick thinking averted suspicion on multiple occasions. My resourceful nature came into play here, as I aided Lyra in practical preparations, fashioning rudimentary tools and devising distractions, demonstrating our growing partnership. The escape. A race against time and bloodlust, the chosen night for our escape was shrouded in a thick, oppressive atmosphere. We descended into the hidden network of ancient tunnels. This was a tense, action-driven sequence, navigating the subterranean labyrinth, the claustrophobia of the dark, the echo of our own heartbeats. We moved through the winding paths, relying entirely on Lyra's intimate knowledge to avoid patrols, overcome unexpected collapses, and bypass hidden passages. The tunnels provided a dynamic and unpredictable environment, naturally generating sustained tension and reinforcing Lyra's indispensable role. It was a dangerous game of cat and mouse in the dark, where every shadow could conceal a pursuer. The emotional intensity of our shared flight was palpable. Fear, hope, and the growing certainty that our lives were intertwined. Emerging from the tunnels, we faced the final formidable challenge: the island's treacherous coast. Jagged reefs and unpredictable currents made any sea escape extremely hazardous without expert knowledge of the local waters. Lyra's expert knowledge of these waters became absolutely crucial here, as she navigated us toward a small, hidden vessel she had prepared, guiding us through the deadly passages. This final, formidable, external obstacle meant that even if we successfully navigated the tunnels and evaded the vampires, our escape wasn't guaranteed. It reinforced Lyra's role as not just a guide through the tunnels, but also a navigator through the deadly coastal hazards, creating a powerful climax. The combination of the island's natural defenses, the perpetual mist, and these treacherous waters created a truly isolated and self-contained prison, emphasizing the magnitude of Lyra's sacrifice and the sheer impossibility of my escape without her. A desperate dash to the sea, final heart-pounding near-miss, with pursuing Nocturnes who had discovered our escape. And then, the exhilarating sensation of the vessel clearing the reefs. Beyond the horizon, an uncertain future, the small vessel cleared the reefs, leaving the mist-shrouded Isle of Whispers behind us. I felt a profound sense of relief, a physical exhaustion that seeped into my bones, and the dawning realization of our hard-won freedom as the island faded from view. The first rays of dawn, piercing through the lingering mist, symbolized our escape from the nocturnal world of the vampires and the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter. Our harrowing experience left an indelible mark. I reflected on the deception, the terror, and the incredible, unexpected love that blossomed amidst the horror. The cost of our escape was immense. Lyra's profound betrayal of her kind, her struggle with her own nature and the lingering lure of human blood, and my own trauma and the permanent scar the island had left on my psyche. While the physical escape was a victory, it immediately opened up new narrative possibilities and challenges. We now faced the complexities of our forbidden relationship. human and vampire, Lyra's internal conflict with her nature, and the daunting task of integrating into a world that would understand neither a vampire nor the horrors we escaped. Our journey is far from over. We are two beings from different worlds, bound by a unique, forbidden love, sailing towards a human world that understands neither Lyra's true nature nor the profound implications of our escape. Lyra's exposure to the human world will undoubtedly change her further, and my experience has fundamentally altered my scientific perspective and my understanding of life and morality. Our story is merely beginning, a testament to identity, belonging, sacrifice, and the nature of love across impossible divides.